Gold is crashing and it's taking silver down with it. I'm your host, Steve Van Metre, and thanks for joining me for part 2 of the Sunday Chart Show. We take a look at the momentum and technicals of gold, gold miners, dollar, bonds, and the energy sector. Let's take a look at gold. Let's kick it off with a momentum indicator, the relative strength indicator. It is deeply oversold, so this could be a big sign. Are we going to get a bounce? Or are we going to see a long extended period where gold heads lower despite the fact that it's oversold? So when you see a signal of 30 or below, you know you're oversold. You want to look for momentum being 40 or higher to suggest it's building. And this is an area where traders will look to come in and buy. But if the Fed continues to drain liquidity, it may not be enough. And you'll notice that we see the momentum build here and then rolled over, slowed down, and then price just came crushing down with it. How about the MACD? We noted in previous shows that you can actually get a rally here off of just a slight, uptrend in the MACD. Didn't hold, it got below, and the next thing you know, price just fell out of the floor. And again, this is a moving average convergence divergence strategy. If you're new to the show, you're looking for a positive cross of the black line up through the red line. Usually sell signals are generated as the black line crosses to the downside through the red line. And of course, we've got Momentum Timer Pro, 9 consecutive days of sell signals telling you shouldn't have been in this to begin with. It's already a downward trending security. If you're looking to make an upside move now, wait for the sell signal to flip to a buy. How does it generate these signals? Well, it has 3 it looks at, takes 2, has to have 2 confirming either a positive cross on that MACD, RSI over 40, or its own internal signals have to be positive, and then you get a coveted sell signal here. This could be, and now the challenge is it's in a downtrend. If you see a bounce, that would indicate going fully short, and if not, then you're looking for that buy signal to get in. Notably, look at palladium, got a very strong signal on Thursday, and that trade it called up 9% in 2 days. So you can see the power of momentum. Once you get it, there's guidebooks, there are videos, links in the description in the corner below. How about price? Moving averages trending to the downside. This is a dangerous move. If you're a long only investor, this is not what you want to see for you to trade. You want to just step aside here. Momentum on 50 and 100 day to the downside below all the key moving averages. Only 9-month momentum remains positive, which is not a strong selling point for being long gold. And look at this price. Here we have volume profile turned on. You can do this with your charts. See here, this red bar, 2-year volume profile. It was trying to hold, and came crashing through. And what happens? Why do you see this? Stop losses are getting triggered and wiped out. Now you'd think down here at 1740, you've got prior areas where this could be a good signal. Realistically, you're now risking a 1687 move to the downside, and if that doesn't hold, everything goes out. And if you zoom in on the volume profile, look, sellers above at the 6-month line. How about the 90-day sellers above? How about 30 days sellers are above here as well? And even the 10-day. So sellers are above. There's a liquidity issue. This is not something, unless you are a day trader, that you even want to mess with at this point. Wait for some other stronger signal to come out of this. And in fact, as again, we go to the 5-year mark, you can see 1687 is a line, a big line in the sand. Looks like price is going to gravitate downward unless something can come in and put it to a stop. There's a little bit of volume here, not much, but again, this is not unusual when you see the Fed drain liquidity. And when it does that, you also will see the miners go down. Here we see GDX also sitting right near oversold condition after getting there before. Remember, it got to oversold condition, put up a little bit of rally, looked like it could get going, and then all of a sudden momentum fade. We warned of that last week. Momentum was slowing down. Price went down with it. Will buyers come in here? Don't know. Of course, we see the MACD negative cross stayed below. You can see it's trying, early stages trying to turn here, but will it do it against the Fed? That is a question. Momentum Timer Pro said, hey, look, you're already in a downtrend, 17 days of sell signals. Don't mess with this thing. Wait for some other signal. And if you're a long-term trader, wait for it to bottom out. Look, this thing's red. We know in the past, when you see red on the screen, that's when you start putting this thing on the radar, looking for signals for a bottom. Doesn't mean it can't go further. We know that. It certainly can. But now that should be on your radar. Look at GDX. came crashing down. I thought it was going to hold up here at 30 into this volume. Boy, not at all. That is, again, a sign of liquidity stress in the market. Let's zoom out to the 5-year. And what do you see? Price holding up at a prior area of support here right at 26.29. If it fails to keep up here, well, now you're looking down to 23 and maybe even further. That is, again, indication liquidity crisis brewing in the markets. Of course, buyers really desperately need to come in here and keep this thing going. Sellers all the way above this thing, 30 days, they're selling above. That means there is problems in the system. How about silver, which is going down with, of course, the metals, gold, and the minor as a metal, other than palladium, which seems to be going up. Of course, again, Momentum Timer Pro nabbed that signal pretty solid on Thursday report. And again, you're up 9% if you actually bought it open and held it through the close of Friday. Oversold condition on silver. Oversold condition. Again, buyers, traders love this because they come in and buy, but just because you're oversold, we've seen with things like bonds, you can stay oversold for a long time. And it means price could keep going down. So far, unless you are a day trader and keeping your stops tight, hold off on this. Look, the MACD not showing signs of a bottom just yet, maybe potentially starting to flatten out here, but nothing yet. Momentum Timer Pro, 10 consecutive sell signals in a downtrend. So wait on this at this point before you do anything. Look, all red here. Price charts, ugly, ugly, ugly on silver. We've been saying this thing's going to go down a lot at some point, and starting to. The next destination here is in the $17 price range. You see a little bit of volume here at 18, where likely you'll see some buyers come in, but the heavy support's down here at 17. Remember, people up here said this thing was only going higher. Again, this is an indication liquidity stress, but the first level of stopping here in terms of price will move this line down. And since we're headed that way anyways, we'll put it here. And you can see all you have to do is look for that area of volume, and kind of where it starts is where you put your supply zone. And then you make another one kind of roughly somewhere to the bottom of it. And lo and behold, it should kind of line up what you see. We could actually move it down a little bit more, but we'll leave it right there for now. And then there's another little supply zone before that. So then target 18 on the downside here. Fail to hold that. You're going into the 17s, into 16s. Not pretty for silver. Let's go on to dollars, which again, Momentum Timer Pro has been flagging buy signals on this at every pullback. Back to overbought conditions, just touched over 70, sitting at 69. Again, momentum leading price higher. What you want to see, MACD, everyone thought this thing was going to go down below. I said maybe don't hold your horse on that. Sure enough, momentum turned back up. Price went up with it. Telling you dollars going higher. 19 consecutive days of signals. 19 trading days ago, it gave you a re-entry point if you were out on this trade. Everything here is green. Of course, that also a sign of potential reversal coming. Let's take a look at UUP. This thing is just gapping higher and going. And where does it go from here? Max weekly. Well, we don't really have there's no data on it. So it's just going higher on UUP. Notably, 10-day volume profile. You've got equal buyers and sellers duking it out. But over the last 30 days, the buyers are on this. People want to sell this because I think the dollar is overdone. Let's take a look at what we see with DXY and why are we seeing this? There's a dollar shortage. So sometimes you have to ask why. It's not technical. There's actually a legitimate dollar shortage. We said it was going to get up to 107. It did. Next move I would be looking at is up here in, say, 112. I'll be targeting that 112 to the upside. There's really, when you're in a major dollar shortage, it just is what it is. This thing is going to go higher at some point. How about bonds? Momentum built positive momentum, but notice that momentum slowed down a little bit. It's still positive, sitting at 45, but price came correcting back down. So momentum's positive. You see a divergence now in price, telling us that perhaps price is gone too far to the downside. How about the MACD? Notice momentum still to the upside, price curving down. So again, divergence between the two. What's going on here? Well, we'll see. Momentum Timer Pro, 10 consecutive days of buy signals that might change. Noticeably, it's got a minimum on the 1 month. So it's still saying what's trying to tell you here is putting in a bottom. Is not until you see a positive indicator here, a minimum or higher, and a minimum on the sell signal that you get a very strong momentum signal to the upside. So it's building signals, not there yet. It's all red again. So price went down, no surprise over the last few trading days. A big picture is forming a bottom, and you can see it in the charts. Let's zoom into the 1 year, let's zoom into the 6 month. You can see it's bottoming out. Notice 6 month where traders are at, they're aggressively selling this, trying to keep it down, and buyers are just letting them do it. They're saying, hey, you want to keep dropping price? I'll be happy to buy down here. 10-day volume profile is above. Everybody's selling above. And that's okay, because you can see the big picture here. It's bottoming out. What we would expect to see is that 3-month window signal. The next time this makes a move higher and breaks some of these levels here, look for momentum to switch. And all of these sellers, of course, they're sitting here short in this market, and they're going to get wiped out. How about in the energy sector? What do we have here with XLE? It's just coming off oversold conditions. Back still under 40 though. Momentum to the downside, price going with it. That's what you want to see in terms of them being in sync. And what do we see? Momentum still, early signs that perhaps the MACD is bottoming. Of course, what do you see in the RSI? It was at 39. So it's telling you momentum's trying to put a bottom in here. How about the bigger picture? Moving averages 21 and 50 headed down. 100 days still remains bullish below all the key moving averages, slowly turning red here. What do we see from the price chart? There's really only one thing, in my opinion, to look at here, other than the fact the short-term move could be back up to the 6-month volume profile line. You can see and I expect to see buyers come in here, and you expect to see them continue to come in here. Why? Because when it gets to this area, and we talked about it, it gets choppy as sellers are just unloading into buyers, and the next thing you know, it comes plunging down. That's the next plunging move. Perhaps if you're a short seller, you might want to be building up your short position here. But nevertheless, with that, that's our Sunday chart show. Of course, metals looking like they head lower, miners heading lower, bonds trying to bottom, dollar looking to be the wrecking ball, taking energy down with it and the entire economy. And with that, I'm Steve Van Metre. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being fans. Of course, sign up for Momentum Timer Pro, link in description below, and we'll see you back for Tuesday. Bye now.